I'm not saying his elevator don't go all the way to the top. What I'm saying is I don't think he has any stairs.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the strategies, because we've already talked about some of these marketing strategies that we've seen, like coming out with way too many scents all the time, or making things limited releases, or how some of these things that you see the companies doing. Some of them are just kind of doing copycats of each other's. But there's so many different marketing strategies.
Yeah.
I want you guys to reflect on that a little bit and see which ones are effective, which ones you don't like, or which ones do you see the most prevalent. I can see the limited release, because you kind of have to test the waters,
Yeah.
right? Because it really is, if it's a small batch and you're having to order particular ingredients to make a scent, and I can see that. But
Yeah.
then again, you can't say it's going to be around and that's the end of it, because if it all sells out really quick and there's a demand, they're going to make some more.
Well, I don't know. I'm not really a business guy, so
Me neither.
This is just my thoughts. I don't understand why they don't have their base core. These are our best sellers. Do those year round, whether it's 3, 4, 5, whatever, and then have no more than 3 seasonal ones that they come out with. One of the things that always just makes me smack my head against the wall is whenever somebody's, it's 2 weeks until the fall season. Oh my God, what am I going to do for fall? I'm like, you should have been working on that during the summer. You want to stay a season ahead. That way you're prepared, and that way you can do one big announcement, hey, these are our new fall scents. And there are some guys that do that really well. Bearded Pup does that really well. He every holiday or every Thanksgiving and all that, he's got his set holiday seasonal ones, and that's what he does. Now, whether you like him or you don't like him, that's beside the point. But from a marketing perspective, I'm waiting to see more guys become more professional as far as running their business, which is it's almost talking out of both sides of my mouth, because I love the fact that they're small batch and that they're approachable, but at the same time, you want them to be successful and you want them to grow. Now, obviously, we do have some companies that, again, like them or love them, they're getting to that point where they're having to take on more and more employees to meet the demand. So, I would like to see them actually have some kind of game plan as far as their marketing. Even if it was bad, if they came up with a strategy and it didn't work, then they would at least have a starting point, Yeah.
And with so many of the companies, it's like you want to see what their goal is. You want to know their vision for their company right up front, because some really, really want to grow. And then some are just happy as a clam, just making a batch of something and selling it whenever. So, and then you've got the different marketing strategies. Some business owners decide they're going to do everything themselves. They're not going to pay affiliates. They're not going to pay for reviews. They're just going to do everything themselves. They're going to go on the live streams and Instagram, and they're going to manage all that themselves. Yeah. And then some go, no, I'm going to spend all this money on marketing and affiliates and codes and kind of make the big show out of it. And then some decide, I don't want to make a big show. It's just going to be me, and I'm going to be happy with my little following. So there's all kind of different strategies. I think all are successful. If they're good products and, good owners for the most part, I think they can all be successful, but it's just interesting seeing different ways they kind of work their business. Joe, what do you think?
Having done therapy for over a year now, I've gotten to know a bunch of owners, some who are really successful and some who have actually spoken about business and books and things without me even asking. And it's been very interesting. One owner who I've gotten more close to recently, who has a lot of affiliates affiliates from the biggest guys all the way down to what much smaller guys with maybe, well, definitely I know of guys with fewer subs than you, Brian. Okay. So his affiliates kind of go the gamut. And he was talking about bang for buck, my affiliate for this really popular reviewer versus my affiliate for this less, and by popular I mean sub count, less popular reviewer. It was very interesting to see to hear him break that down. To answer your question, I'm going to do this straight from the consumer. Because Brian, you and I are teachers. We make a decent living. I'm thinking about the guy who's got one kid and is living in an apartment and wants to have a beard hobby and has just got 9,000 companies to choose from and is always getting inundated with scents. I really like, and there are others, but I'm just going to choose Adam again. I like the Hanyaker model. To me, it seems like Adam has a core 6 or so scents, maybe 7. And he has done seasonals and he's doing approximately 2 to 3 new scent releases a year. All right. He did Rad this year, which was a special scent just so he could work with his son. He had a new fall scent. He's going to bring back Brown County as like a bridge from fall to winter. And then he's going to bring back Snowblind as his winter scent. Okay. And I like that because I think you have to pace yourself or else the consumer may not be able to keep up with you. And that might engender I don't know, some bitterness. I don't know, but it just seems like in such a saturated market, if you oversaturate with product, I wonder, is that positive? Or are you just releasing so much that when I have 25 choices, am I now going to remove you because I just can't keep up with your catalog and I'm going to go to 24?
And while I agree with you 100%, and I especially love your example, I think that you and I both, in fact, if I'm remembering correctly, and I'm pretty sure I am, you're the one that turned me on to Hanyaker. So a big fan of his. On the other hand, you have your Uncle Donnie's that launched with 2-3 different scents and disappears.
Yeah.
Comes back about once a year.
Yeah.
You don't see or hear from them. Had some nice scents. I mean, they were not the most complex, but they were really well thought out and they worked. With him, he's taken the other extreme of, you can put all of his scents on a Post-it note with description. So we definitely, and then obviously Beard Justice, he's got like I think 32 cents.
To me, Anointed AK sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Andy. Go ahead.
I'm just saying he's got like 32 cents. I know because I've got most of them.
Yeah.
So and his is definitely his probably suffers even more because he does cologne mimics as opposed to somebody like Adam. His are completely original. And Zenlin and Avenue Blue, if he didn't make anything else, he's got me.
Yeah.
Those two. And then Body Language was really good. And then there's some other ones that I haven't even tried. Of course, 57 was phenomenal. So it didn't have a whole lot of longevity, but I still loved it.
Mahogany Teak again.
Yeah. Funny case.
Uncle Donnie's is actually a better example than I was going to come up with for that same sort of thing. But a guy who seemed like a shooting star when I was watching reviews before I started, and who I got all of his products in it, and it didn't take me that long, is Bad Dog. Bad Dog had a few scents. Now he did, like, for lack of a better term, an emergency or charity scent called Volcano for a friend of his who was in an accident. He did the collab with Scott. And he's done maybe 1 or 2 more. Add in Summit, we're looking at about 5 cents. And let's pull the Volcano out of there because that was a special total, like 1 week scent. He's done 4 to 5 cents in 2 years. And to me, I'm like, and that's Jeff's call. I'm not criticizing Jeff, but I just wonder, like, not that the game has passed him by, but can you still find that market if people are doing, I don't know, but Bad Dog is again one of those other companies.
I just recently got his Black Absinthe, and I am every bit as impressed with that as I was with Amber Oak when I first got Amber Oak.
I want to get Black Absinthe. It looked good.
Yeah, I agree with you. he is not as prolific by any stretch of the imagination.
Where do you think that comes from? Do you think it's personality, or do you
Yes.
think it's like they're really just working this kind of as a side hustle, and they're working as much as they really want to, and they don't feel like they need to expand anymore? I don't know.
I talked to Jeff about this, and Rob Ape, who has only done 2 cents, and they were kind of released bang bang in this past year. He released 1812 last summer of 19, and then he released Delta Blues and Bon Vivant within like a month of each other, and those have been his only releases in 2020, and we're in November now. For Rob Ape, he is a perfectionist, and he's going to tweak and tweak. I know this as a writer. You edit and you tweak, and at some point it's like you just got to publish that thing and get it out of your hands, right?
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. He's tweaking, he's doing this. At some point you got to put it up for sale. Jeff, from when I talked to him much more 2 years ago, knew it was he didn't care. He also didn't want to sell no product before it's time kind of thing, but he also wasn't in a rush to blanket or even make many cents a year. And I think it's definitely part of his personality, because I know the guy has the work ethic. But I also know he wants to live life too. And I don't think he wants the business to be so big. He's a big outdoorsman, Jeff is. The business gets so big that maybe that infringes on his family time or his enjoyment time.
I'd say that's probably, you've probably talked to him more than I have, but I kind of get that sense too. I mean, if you just look at his Instagram, he's always, hiking and doing something outdoors. He lives in a beautiful state, a beautiful part of a beautiful state. But again, that's kind of his thing. He never goes away. He doesn't disappear on you.
No,
He definitely, does something periodically as far as putting it out there that he's still around.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, where I worry that some of these companies are going to fall behind is not so much on the cents or the number of cents that they're making, but I do think as more people begin to put these products out there and begin to experiment with different carrier blends and different carrier ingredients, I do feel like some of the stuff that I went back and tried a year later, it was kind of like, okay, this smells nice. It's, still works, but it doesn't work as well as some of the other stuff that I've seen come out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not getting into the whole additive thing with the CBD and all of that.
Oh yeah.
But I do think there is some evolution, which I know drives some customers crazy, because when they find something that they like, they don't want it to change. And whenever they use something up, they want to go right back to it. So it's a catch-22 in that respect as well.
You spawned an idea in my mind, Andy, that I want to put towards you and Brian, but something else. It's funny you say that. Barbado Beard Co. made my favorite coffee scent, and I don't like coffee scents, and it was called Harden. His supplier ran out of one of the fragrances. They just quit making it. So he actually had to change the entire profile of Harden. He wanted to keep the label name, but it's now a more outdoorsy kind of grassy scent. And I'm like, dude, you made a coffee scent I loved, and now it's gone. So yeah, those kind of things can happen.
There ain't no such thing as a good case of hemorrhoids.